Well, now, this week, the Senate passed harmonized amendments to the Electoral Act. For a number of people, the clauses were quite innovative and the amendments were commendable. However, one particular clause, Section 25, subsection A, was quite offensive. You're one of the senators who protested after the amendment had been passed.
Yes.
Why is that so? Why did you protest?
First, you see, we are talking about procedures. If you remember, you have earlier on said at my introduction that I am a first-time senator. When I came into the Senate, at times when we were considering or adopting these concurrent reports, we subjected to the rules of the Senate, that we dissolve into the whole committee of the Senate, and the presiding officer comes down, and we address him as chairman, and we look at it clause by clause, these are observations. We do it. We have done it in the case of FCT, budget and other things. But this time around, they just came and said that we said yes or no. So and some of us felt that Section 73 of our order rules give us the liberty that at that kind of situation, you can call for a division. By calling for a division, it means that everybody will have to answer his name by voting, because the aye and the no may not give you the correct pattern of and thinking of the legislators at that material time. I know the issue of the Electoral Act is very critical. You have said it. We have 6 innovations there that everybody applaud us. But because of this information and communication technology, and because of the pedestrian society we have, and other things, and as said by Bukola Saraki, politics is local. That means that it is your constituents that will determine your direction. And did your constituents
vote in any way? Did you seek their opinion on
this?
Yes.
You see, in this era of information technology, as I am sitting down with you now, conversing with you, some people have been tweeting or will be abusing me on what I am saying on some of my dispositions. Yeah. So even when the House passed that thing, some of us have gotten enough calls, messages from our constituents that now they are busted because it is targeted against the President of the Republic of Nigeria. I come from a constituency that to eternity they will continue to root for President Muhammadu Buhari, and they have said that the sequence of election is tilted towards his disadvantage. And as there are 2 representatives, as I say, I can do rather, I have to voice that.
Yeah, some people say that the true supporters of President Buhari say this has nothing to do, whether or not the elections come first or come last, has nothing to do with the president. And the Senate president has always said that this is not about individuals, it's always about the institutions. They believe that this will go forward to strengthen the people who occupy the National Assembly, the quality of people.
The essence of us being there is to aggregate the opinions of our own people, vis-a-vis with other people from the Nigerian state. In politics and in democracy, the majority will always have its way, but the minority might have a say. If we were given opportunity at that time before we adopted to have a few words to express our feelings, maybe we will not have worked out. We didn't work out. It was only after we have finished the process that we went to show our disagreement. The whole process was done through us, with us sitting down there.
So do you think that the Senate overstepped its bounds? Do you think they had the power to make the laws that it did, the amendments, that particular amendment in terms of reordering? Part of the conversation is that the Senate has gone beyond its borders. It has stepped into INEC's role of organizing elections.
Well, you see, people are saying that if the Senate has powers to make rules and regulations for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it has a means. People are arguing that INEC is a constitutional issue. It is in the Constitution, all its powers. And the Constitution says that they are supposed to fix the date of the presidential election and the time. And people are arguing that if you give him that latitude to fix the date and the time, you should give him the latitude to fix the sequence. And that even though the Senate has powers to tinker with the laws, they cannot tinker with the Constitution unless it goes through alteration. And the processes. It starts from the National Assembly, it goes to the state assemblies, you have to have 2/3 and other things. So these are things that our constitutional lawyers should be able to test it and see the veracity of where it will take us.
So you want this to be tested at the Supreme Court?
The lawyers of the Nigerian state, for them to strengthen the law, some of them should be able to take the challenge.
Yeah, I'm just wondering now, you're talking about politics now and how President Buhari is going to fare. Do you think that your party is doing well, the APC?
Great. It is doing well. If you look at the enormous amount of the damage that has happened to the Nigerian state before the time of the APC, if you look at the progress in terms of the economy, even in terms of the security, that today you block one hole and they open another hole, we have tremendously progressed. If you look at our rating internationally, it has tremendously. If you look at the integrity of the leadership of the Nigerian state and their commitment, and the fact that even outside the world have taken that we have leadership that has integrity, that they can listen to other things, we have progressed.
So perhaps indeed in the first few days of President Buhari's emergence as president, yes, the international community did feel that, but only recently on a policing index we were second to last on how our internal policing system were behaving. Shouldn't that worry you in terms of the kind of security or how far your party has fared talking about security?
It all depends on the nationalism of the press, most especially.
Nationalism of the press?
Yes.
What
only on your reportage. It all depends on your reportage. It is just wait. It's the image, the internal image you portray to the external world that they take it. There is no place that is not being threatened in the world, either in terms of social security or economic security or physical security or food security and other things.
So what do the
But they downplay their own.
They downplay
our own,
it?
Yes, our own, we overplay it. Let me challenge you. Have you ever seen even where there are killings in the developed countries where they show gory side of the thing? They will even warn you that it's offensive even if you want to show a little bit of it. It is only here that you show people.
I find it very difficult to accept that allegation of yours because I have.
It's not an allegation. We're discussing about issues that affect the Nigerian state.
It is an allegation against the Nigerian press, and I happen to be a member of the press.
I am a Nigerian citizen. We're discussing about image of the Nigerian state.
Senator, just a moment, and I know that my
Don't take it personal.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yes.
The sector I work in is heavily regulated. If you do things like that, you're called to question. You are sanctioned. And so I believe that many areas of the press are also regulated as well.
There has been killing since yesterday in Zamfara. Which of your press has overblown it the way it is overblowing what is in Benue? Is there a balance there?
How do you mean overblown? I mean, it's been reported, hasn't it?
No, not to the extent and to the level. There has never been condemnation. There has been never, since that was done in the other case.
So you believe that the situation in Benue has been overblown?
Correctly. Because we have lost our humanity. Some of the things we are supposed to have been dishing out.
Senator, you must remember that, the situation in Benue did not start at the 1st of January this year. Surely, I'm sure you know that. And that even when the killings happened in Agatu, it took a while for the press to even know what was happening there. And it was only well after those killings had happened that the press was able to go there and see what had transpired. Weeks, if not months, after it had transpired.
Without abusing anybody's sensibility.
Yes.
You see, nobody is condoning recklessness. Nobody is condoning barbarism. Nobody is condoning arson. Nobody is condoning murder from any individual or from any tribe or from any ethnic extraction. At that same time, there were killings in rivers. There were killings in Cross River or Akwa Ibom that is more than that of Benue. There was killing going on in Numan. There was killing going on in Taraba. There was killing going on very horrendously in Zamfara.
Please, can you let me interrupt you because we have to take a break now. The lights are already on the thorny issue of security, and since we're talking about that, we know that Senator Wakili is one of those not in support of state policing. In the face of all of that is going on, is he going to shift ground on his ideas on state policing? In a moment, please stay with us.